Hi friends, welcome to Spark Nature. This week was all about gardening and giving our seedlings a new home. After weeks of growing in the greenhouse, they were finally ready to be transplanted into our garden beds. But first, we had some work to do, clearing the weeds, adding fresh compost, preparing the soil, and getting everything ready for planting. Come along as we dig, haul, plant, and grow.
Does anybody know what a perennial is?
Is that something that comes back every...
Great job, Wilder and Aria. Yeah, perennials mean they come back. So some of the plants we planted last year are perennials, and they're mixed in here in the garden. And we've got some other plants in there that we didn't plant that the birds might have helped us plant that we didn't necessarily want. Some of the natives and things like that. But there's also some fun ones like this guy stuck to me. You know, does anybody know what this one's called?
Daddy, is it this one?
It's that one, but this one's called cleaver. You know? And it sticks to you. Yeah, we're gonna pick them in a second, Carissa. But this one can stick to you, and that's how you know it's called cleavers. Divide up into teams. We got 3 garden beds, and then we're gonna go in with a goal on what we're gonna use to pick out. And if we see something like cleavers, maybe we can make a little special pile of those and keep those aside, and we can make a little tea with those, and maybe some mint, and have a nice little garden tea from our weeding session here before we get into planting. Maybe we can... Let's be mindful about our picking. Maybe we can make a bouquet with some of the flowers we take.
The kids jumped right in, working together in teams to clear the garden beds. They pulled thick weeds, dug out stubborn roots, and carefully decided which plants to keep and which needed to go. This is such an important part of our philosophy. We believe children learn best when they are actively participating in real life, not just hearing about responsibility, teamwork, and stewardship, but actually practicing it, working together toward a shared goal, solving problems, and caring for something bigger than ourselves.
The time has come for our babies to move out of the nursery and into their beds. They're getting their big girl beds, their big boy beds out of the nursery. So what are things first? We got to make their beds, right? So we're going to take this wonderful mushroom compost here. And you guys did a great job weeding. If there's any weeds that we weren't able to get with our bare hands or a little trowel, we can make sure before we put the new soil on, we dig those big roots out. But I think you guys did a really good job. When we're putting the new soil on, we want to be careful not to cover those plants that we did keep. So when we're putting it in, if you need help, just say, hey, I need help. And we can help. We got some strong young ladies and young men around here that can help out with that. And we're going to take about 10 minutes to do this. And I know you guys can do that because you're good team players and you work well together. So we've got the big boy wheelbarrow. We've got a couple of mini wheelbarrows here. So let's figure out, we'll split into the 3 beds. If you were with those beds, stay with those beds for this. And then we're gonna move the soil down. We're gonna do it in 10 minutes. Do you think we can do that? Yeah, all right, perfect.
This was everyone's favorite part of the day, figuring out how to transport the compost down to the garden beds. Luckily, we had 3 wheelbarrows, and before long, the kids were working together to haul load after load down the hill. There was digging, shoveling, lifting, carrying, steering, and lots of creative thinking as they took turns and helped one another along the way. We believe there's real value in this kind of work. It's physical, it's challenging, it requires effort, patience, and cooperation. And while it may look like they're just moving dirt, it's also building confidence, resilience, responsibility, and a sense of accomplishment. The best part was the joy on their faces. They were fully engaged, laughing, working hard, and genuinely proud of what they were helping to create. Then we headed over to the greenhouse, took out the seedlings, and everyone found theirs. From their selection, each child got to choose 1 plant for the garden.
We gotta talk to each other in our garden beds and find out what plants go together. So we've got a little chart here you can come and check. Make sure we're not putting something together that competes against something else. And if it is, maybe we can trade and move it because we're all together in a community. This is our community garden. So even if it's not in the bed you worked on, it's gonna go into one of the Spark garden beds and it will be planted and nurtured. When we plant herbs next to our fruit plants, it helps keep the pests away. And then if there's not pests, then we get more fruit, and that's what we want. Some of us are gonna plant some flowers. We got some zinnias I know I saw in here. Why do we want flowers next to our fruiting plants? Because it brings the pollinators over. So we're gonna put a nice little mix of all these things together in our garden bed, and then that makes it easier to our garden.
With their seedlings in hand, we headed back to the garden for the best and final part, planting. After tucking them in and watering them and putting in a lot of positive energy, We left them with the hope that before long, we'll be enjoying the fruits of our labor. From there, we stayed outside in the beautiful weather for art. Mr. Sebastian guided us through a step-by-step drawing of either a butterfly or dragonfly before inviting the kids to make it their own. Using colored pencils, gems, glitter, sparkles, and googly eyes, each child transformed their sketch into something completely unique. The finished pieces were amazing, just as creative and individual as the children who made them. It was a full day of hard work, dirty hands, teamwork, creativity, and fun. The perfect way to start June and spend the day outside. Thanks so much for following along. Remember to like, comment, share, subscribe. Help us to spread the spark. And as always, get yourself and your kids outside.